Hi everybody, it's Tatiana, and today I'm coming to share with you a review of The Deep by River Solomon, along with the members of the band Clipping, who are David Diggs, William Hudson, and Jonathan Snipes. This is a book based on the song The Deep by Clipping. And the song The Deep won an award, a sci-fi award. That's how I first heard about it, and then was reminded about it when this was in talks, when River Solomon was in talks about this coming out. The song is the story of a reduced, shortened story of the descendants of slaves who were thrown from the slave ships while pregnant, and they were born in the water and were born breathing water in the ocean like they breathed water in the womb. So they are a society of people of slave descendants that have always and only lived in the ocean and the deepest parts of the ocean. What I was expecting The Deep to be when I heard about the book coming out was a novelization of the song, basically giving us more of the lives of these descendants of slaves who are living in the ocean. And it was going to be based on what we get about their lives and their story in the book, based, with the heavy emphasis on the importance of remembering, because there's a cadence throughout the song about y'all remember, and that's what I was expecting. And then when I saw Thomas at SFF 180 get his arc of the book, and I saw how short the book was, I knew that's not what I was getting. So I was a little disappointed, but still interested, because those of you who watched my review of In a Kindness of Ghosts last year, I loved that novel. So I was still intrigued because I wanted to read whatever River Solomon put out next. And I finished reading it tonight, and basically what it is an interpretation of the song by Clipping, which is an interpretation of another song. But based on it's just looking at one main character and having that character's story be in the life of these people who live in the deep, the bottom of the ocean. As I was reading it, I was I wish I had my notebook in here. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw I have 4 pages of notes that I took while reading this 150 something page, it's not even 160 page novella. And what I got from this is the importance of the strain of, and also the loneliness that can come along with the duty of remembering, and of remembering your history, and the loneliness that goes along with feeling like you're the only person who remembers, or knowing that you're the only person who remembers, and having the responsibility of sharing those memories, and in which case, not those memories, but sharing your history and reliving the trials and the struggles of your history when you share that with other people who don't remember. And that really spoke to me, not as something that I have experienced, but things that I have heard other people say as a kid growing up. The main character, Yetu, is the historian for the Wajenru people, and as the historian, she is the one person of the Wajenru people who have grown from being a tribe of one to a population of hundreds of thousands, I believe, over their centuries-long history. She is responsible not only for holding the history of the Wajenru people, but also sharing that history with them. And then once the people have had their fill of it, she takes that history back. And she has a desire to basically escape that responsibility because of the wear and tear that it's having on her body, on her mental state. And so she attempts to do that, and that is in the description. I'm not spoiling anything. She attempts to do that as she goes and runs away to the surface level. That's one area of the story where I was like, we're not even in this world as we know it today, with the characters of the deep just residing in the oceans. Because when she gets to her experience or her escaping to land, there's absolutely no way that someone who is going to see you with technology that we have today, and it's going to be nowhere. And everything that happens in this story is pretty much self-contained within the ocean and the shore. Nowhere else. That's when it clicked for me that we ain't in this world. Which is another thing that I was expecting. I was expecting that they were going to be here, not we were going there. As I read this, there's a problem upon first reading it. That tells you something right there. I read parts of it more than once. There was a problem for me of the continuity of the story and somewhat the pacing of the story, because there are breaks and you're not 100% sure upon first read where you are and who you're dealing with. Number one, there's the usage of we a lot, and we could mean one person. We could mean the Wajinrus. And so there are times when you read we and you're only talking about, it's one person who's talking, but there's also not a lot of I's in this story either. So that was a problem with realizing, oh, this we is not a bunch of people. This we is one person. I went back after finishing the story and I read 2 chapters over, and reading those 2 chapters, not reading the whole story, but reading those 2 chapters over made a huge difference in the impact of the story. Because after I finished reading the novella, I could see that there were some parts that were supposed to connect and some significance in some of the information that's shared or alluded to about some of the people that Yetu comes in contact with, and I missed it. And it was worth reading those 2 chapters separately. So if you want to know what those 2 chapters were, ask me in the comments below. I kind of don't want to share them here because I don't want people to pick that book up and read those 2 chapters out of context. If you choose to go down and read the comments and do that, you're on your own, that's fine. I didn't just give it to you in the video. But that made all the difference for me as far as understanding the arc of the story, the importance that was being placed on remembering the importance of the histories, and the significance of the ending. I thoroughly enjoyed this. When it comes out on paperback, I will be purchasing my own copy. I want to get this on paperback because I have an Unkindness of Ghosts in paperback, and I just reader quirks. I would like both of my River Solomon books that I have thus far to be in paperback. So I'm waiting for it to come on paperback for me to purchase my own copy so that I can reread it and tab the shit out of it. I actually, and I never want to do this, y'all, I actually wanted to write in this, to make notes and to draw connections. That's saying something. Yeah, if you have read this and you would like to discuss it in the comments below, please feel free to do so. Put an alert for spoilers if you wanted to discuss details of the story. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good weekend whenever you see this video. Peace out.